Hey guys, I wanted to just bring up something else that I've been noticing lately in the online manifesting communities that I've seen a lot. I see a lot of this in the posts submitted on Reddit. And that is people declaring victory too soon. And this may seem counterintuitive because it seems like a positive thing to do, I think, to say, I've had one day of a shifted mentality, so therefore victory. Neville, Goddard, and everybody and common sense dictates that you have to persist in a state that you have taken on in order for it to solidify and become you. And I've seen a lot of people doing this. Like, a lot of people will say, I imagined myself as, there was a post recently where somebody said, I imagined myself no longer being a no longer being a smoker. And then I woke up the next morning and I didn't have the urge to smoke. So now I'm a non-smoker. And I get the urge to do that, you want it to be that easy. You want it to just be gone forever from one night of thinking that you're no longer a smoker. But, you need to continue to, you need to remain in that state long enough for it to solidify. It's almost like, I don't know the brain chemistry behind this stuff. I don't know the neuroscience or whatever that goes into this. But in my own personal experience, they say like a habit takes 3 weeks to form or something. It's something like that. If I can stay in a certain state and perform the same types of actions, and persist in whatever that is, whatever that looks like, for like a month or two, it starts to become very easy and it starts to feel natural. And when it feels natural and you start to identify with it, that's when like everything naturally changes. Like Neville Goddard says, you won't have to lift a finger, your actions will be automatic. That's what he's talking about. Things just happen naturally from a different state because you have different thoughts and you just naturally take different actions. And so like this early declaration of victory is very harmful, and maybe a lot of you have experienced that, where you have a little bit of success and you start kind of trumpeting it around, or you tell yourself that we don't have to worry anymore, like look how easy this was. It's nice in theory, and things can be easy. I just think that in practice, a lot of the time you find that it isn't. It just doesn't quite shake out that way. You start talking about it a lot, or you start kind of showboating about something, and then that causes your energy to dissipate. When you have an intention to do something, and then you get excited about it, and then instead of that energy being channeled into creating whatever it is, you call somebody and talk about it all night. Have you ever noticed that then you hang up the phone and then the next day it's kind of like it's gone? That's one of the things that I figured out a long time ago to stop doing. If I'm talking about something, it's not happening. That's what I've noticed. Matt has confirmed this for me, that when I start actually doing, all of the talking about it and pondering about it and figuring it out that I think through out loud just completely stops. So anyway, all of that to say that, I think you will often find that with the initial mental shift, you sort of get this false sense of it's done, like in reality, not it's done mentally. And then you tend to back off of the persistence and just go back to autopilot, which after only a day or two of a different way of thinking mentally, the odds of you staying in that frame of mind without continued, disciplined thought, I think that the odds of that are very low. And this is also why I recommend, if there's anything that you can do, to do it. If you have a work goal or a physical goal, or you're trying to change something about yourself where there's an action that you imagine you could take in order to get to that end. If you had never heard about this, whatever it is you would have done, diet and exercise for getting the body you want, applying for jobs or looking into programs for school or whatever you would do in order to get, you know, the career that you want, or changing things about yourself that you think are bad, like getting therapy even. Whatever it is about yourself that you think maybe is preventing you from being in the relationship you want. Whatever the conventional actions are that you would take, I would always recommend continuing down that path with the different mentality, because taking those actions is sort of a vote of confidence that you're on that road, and that helps you to solidify that mental state and stay there. I guess what I'm saying with this is I've recently seen a lot of people declaring early victory and reading what they're saying and just saying, yeah, it's too early for you to be calling this a victory. It's nice and positive to say that, but unfortunately there seems to be this little side detriment of losing some of the steam and some of that energy that needs to go into the mental persistence by, you know, whatever that thing is that you're doing when you tell everybody that, you know, celebrating too early. It's kind of like getting high off of what you're doing. It's kind of like, to me, you know, smoking a joint instead of to get a feeling of like peace and serenity, instead of doing the hard work in reality that you might have to do in order to get to a point where you naturally feel that way. It's just like, it's kind of like getting a cheap high. And it's also probably delusional, as persistence is required to change most things. And that's Neville Goddard. That's not just me. So, yeah, I wanted to make that observation, and, I don't know, hopefully that'll help somebody. Sometimes I feel like what I'm saying is kind of negative, or it's kind of like the waggy finger, and I don't mean for it to be that way, but, this is just my observation. Of course I've experienced, of course I've done this myself a million times, so, you know, I'm never judging, or if I'm judging, you can tell. This isn't one of those times. So have a great day.